Welcome to the Natural Health Podcast, where we bring awareness of sustainable health in the business hustle space. The Natural Health Podcast is perfect for the high-performing, business-minded individuals who want to work with their biochemistry to achieve optimal health. It's Friday, which means it's time for friends sharing facts about health, business, and overall success. In today's episode, we talk to Sebastian Gilhouse, who will talk about all things exercise and how you can finally get out of bed and exercise. Seb is a fitness and wellness coach who as a kid suffered from terrible anxiety and self-confidence issues. He struggled to communicate and form deep connections with others, leaving 99% of his life in his head, constrained by negative self-talk and doubt. Seb used exercise as an outlet and later in life began to build a career around it. However, for many years, he wandered searching for his identity and searching for his purpose and passion. He decided he was sick of being held back by his own internal dialogue as he decided to go back to university into an environment which tackled his fears of expression head on. 2 years of self-development and a crazy TV experience, he found his voice. Seb now sees it as his purpose to help others find theirs, to take on board little tips and tricks which can make life a little easier. Wellness, well-being, exercise is part of it, but only a small snippet of it on a grand scale, which is ultimate happiness. Welcome to the Natural Health Podcast, Seb.
Thank you, Mahala. Thank you for that intro.
You are most welcome, most welcome. Wow, it sounds like you've gone through a lot, definitely throughout your whole life, suffering from anxiety as a kid, using exercise as to come out of it. Yeah, there's been a number of things that happened in your life, hasn't there?
Absolutely, there has. It's only been the last few years that I have sort of been a little bit more grounded, a little bit more confident, and I guess that sort of all started with me embracing my fears and tackling, I guess, that negative internal head speak head on. But for many years, and especially my teenage years, I was very constrained by my thoughts. I was very constrained by my anxiety, my insecurities. And it's taken a long time and a lot of different pursuits and a lot of searching in different areas for in particular work that was in line with who I am and what I'm about, I guess.
Yeah, it sounds like you've overcome a lot of battles, a lot of hurdles to be where you are today. I mean, what were the key turning points in your life? I mean, a lot of us do suffer from anxiety and we don't see it as a positive. We actually see it as a negative when it is happening. But I guess looking back at it now, you can kind of see it as a positive. What have been the key turning points for you to be able to turn it around and be where you are now?
Yeah, well, I was just sort of sick. It took enough moments where I guess missed opportunities or delving into self-sabotage and reaching really low points. And it took enough of that. It took enough of, I guess, my life had been peaks and troughs for many, many years. And it just got to a point, I think it was about 28, 29 years old, where I just made a choice that I needed to really make a brave effort to find myself and find my identity. To do that, it meant that I needed to stop living in my head. And to do that, it meant that I needed to really jump out of it and jump into the danger zone, in a sense, I guess you would call it, into spaces where I'm open to being, judged, criticized, whatever it is, all of these things that I might have, subconsciously been fearful of, I guess.
Yeah, you allowed yourself to be raw and vulnerable, isn't it?
Yeah, and I've just that's been a common theme. So in life, yeah, I mean, and I guess the show, that I went on is obviously an example of an experience that I threw myself into, which was potentially a danger zone. I guess that's the most recent, and then obviously the business that I'm creating now.
Yeah. I love that. And before you did any of this, before, you went on a show, before you did any of your business, you were working a full-time corporate job. Is that right?
Yes, well, I mean, so straight out of school, I went and I studied. I did a year and a half of commerce in Dad's sort of footsteps. Dad's had a massive impact on my sort of growth and development. He was a very strong influence, but he did the best he could. But it was a lot to sort of meet expectations, and I guess I tried to do that. I was very molded by him. And that led me into a commerce degree straight outside of uni, which I did for a year and a half. That wasn't, it was interesting in parts, but it wasn't me. And then after that, I was in banking for 3 years. I just slipped into a job in banking. I did the retail thing as well. And then after that, I went back to uni. I did psychology, which was more in line for sure with where I'm at and my views and my open-mindedness, I guess. But I was a terrible student and still not grounded and still struggling with all these issues. And, to really commit, I believe you need to be grounded. You need to have self-belief, self-love, because as you start to progress in any area, if you don't have comfortability with yourself, love of yourself, you'll find a way to destroy your progress. You won't feel worthy of progression. You won't feel worthy of building yourself up to what you're capable of. So that, I did a half psychology degree.
So you did half a commerce degree and half a psychology. So you've got one whole degree.
But wait, there's more. Yeah, I know, right? Basically, the point I'm trying to make, I guess, is I have delved into and I have dipped my toe. I've very much been someone who has been searching for me. Here I am. No,
yeah.
But yeah, searching for me, really have. And I'm starting to, what I'm undertaking is making me whole, which is great at this point in time, but it's taken a lot. It definitely hasn't been fluent. It's been very, very much a series of peaks and troughs.
And as society, like you said, you did half a degree of this and half of that. And I remember when I went through university, I remember my friends doing half and dropping out and things like that. And I remember my mum being like, oh, you got to finish yours. You have to finish yours, because in society today, if we start something, whatever that is, for us to be successful, we have to finish that. But that is what society and what we have been brainwashed to. But actually, that's a pathway to success. It's not the full success.
100%. Yes, I love that. Societal success is based on societal expectations. I mean, society works because for it to work, everyone has to fit into a role. Naturally, for the economy to work, for money to circulate. But individuals are individuals. We are so complex. So happiness is much more. And many people start to realize this if they don't have fulfillment in their job, but it's high paying. You come to this realization that, hang on, everyone around me is satisfied in a sense with the way that they're in reactions to what I'm working on. I think I'm satisfied, but then there's this big void inside me. I don't feel fulfilled. I don't feel like this is in line with my passions or who I am. And so you get this funny, this battle that goes on when I guess, your that societal pressure and expectation is battling against your will and want, I guess.
Yeah, I love how you put that. So talking about success, what does success now mean to Seb? What does success look like to Seb right now?
Success to me now is I've found greatest happiness in serving in line with my beliefs and what I'm about. So because I've spent most of my life trying to fix myself, and it's been although I try to make people happy. I'm a pleasing personality. Still, I've spent most of my life trying to fix and repair myself. So that was very intrinsic. I found when I've started to serve people and pour energy in terms of, for instance, the programs that I'm running now, the wellness programs that I'm running now, I've found most success, most wholeness. This is just, you're witnessing me at my most grounded, but I have a long way to go. And so happiness is your own internal satisfaction with what you're putting out, the energy you're putting out, and who you are in your day to day. And yeah, it sounds a bit cliche, but that's it. It's definitely not. I believe that if you fall in line, if you try to frame your life around who you are and what you're passionate about, I honestly believe that the financial side of things has a great chance of coming in to that as well. And then, it's sort of complete, because if you are if you're truly motivated in line with who you are, then it's not work, right? It's not work. It is, it breaks up that whole societal thing. Weekends are fantastic. The weekdays are death. And so the cycle goes. That's not sustainable for happiness. So if you're doing something you love, then there's always weekends.
Exactly. And I love that. And, even that song, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. Like, everyone just looks forward to those 3 days, and then Sunday night comes, and there's even research been done that most people on a Monday morning about 3 to 4 a.m. have heart attacks. And these individuals have these heart attacks because they're not happy their Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday job, and they're not fulfilling, and they're serving the success, like exactly like you said, they're serving the success of the society, not their own success.
Exactly right.
So I love how you put that, and it comes in together. And I love that you found your success, and you tried a bit of this, you tried a bit of that, and you said, you know what, no, and you closed that door, and you're comfortable enough closing that door, because a lot of individuals, even the people who are listening, may be doing something right now, but they're not comfortable closing that chapter. And it's as exciting closing something to it is opening it. Yes,
100%. I mean, it is. You can understand, because it's frightening letting go of structure and regiment. If there's a lot happening in the world in your life, and you've got a constants which keep you, I guess, feeling that safety net. Or if you put on top of that, family and things like that, it can be tough to let go of something which maybe is not nourishing you, but it can be the greatest thing that you ever do as well. So it is that.
Yeah, you heard that right here, the audience. You heard that right here. Maybe the greatest thing that you may ever do is closing that door. Yeah. I love it. So I wanted to know, since you're in the wellness industry, in the fitness industry, going from banking, commerce type of thing, finding yourself, psychology and so forth, and moving into wellness, I wanted to find out, how has your shift towards health and wellness, or was there even a shift? Was it always health and wellness? How has that changed your life?
Yes, well, exercise, for like I explained, the battles that I was going through in all regards, I found early on that exercise, not only was I was good at it, which helped as well, being that validation, and that's a little part of it, probably not the important part though, but more importantly, the release, the importance that I discovered of moving your body. And I took that to the nth degree with fairly high level sport. Also combined with the team aspect of things, I found community, and I found the positive endorphins that are released through exercise. And early on, before I decided to forge a life around well-being in a sense, so early on, fitness, it sort of was a slow progression of things. As I came to terms with what is happiness, I realized that, exercise is not the entire thing, but it's a small sliver of it. And it's something I've been really part of. And so I just discovered many branches that sort of came under the banner of well-being, I guess.
Yeah. And so were you always doing some sports like AFL and so forth as a kid, or was that just recent in your teenagers and your 20s? Did that come about?
Yeah, always since I can remember, I've dabbled in every sort of sport, and through my lowest times, the sport has been the consistent aspect of my life that has just uplifted me, I guess, kept me going.
So what's the most random sport you've tried and you've just let go a little bit of it?
Oh God, I mean, random sport. What have I tried? Table tennis,
nice.
tennis. cricket, basketball, football. I haven't tried rugby. I've tried lots of different sports, Nothing too unusual, yeah.
Have you tried fencing?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, no, I'd like to.
Yes.
Like to, yeah.
Yeah. I do fencing and I absolutely love it. It's like mental and physical chess all in one.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'd love it. And the glute strength and the flexibility that you would need, some of those positions as well as timing. And
I can't see like this with my eyes, yet alone with that mask on. So I'm used to having masks on, Victoria, we're supposed to be wearing masks. Yep.
Yeah. Walking around with your fencing mask.
Yeah, I've got a mask. I've got it.
Love it.
So yeah. No, that's absolutely amazing that you've put sport in and like you said, it's, the key is to have variety in your life, but the key is also to have constant. So sport and wellness and health has been a constant thing in your life that has assisted you. Do you think it's helped out with your anxiety, with your concentration and things like that, being using exercise?
I think exercise is one thing, along with like a few other things that become a routine that really aids well-being, has really positively impacted my mental health. So the exercise, the sleep, and the things around getting good sleep, and the things around eating well. Yes, I think they really have. Definitely, I think it's important to have I'm not one for a super ultra undyingly rigid routine, but a really good idea of what you want to put into each day, because I want things to be sustainable. I believe when we get too obsessive with time and things like that it's more there's more room for when things go wrong or life happens for us to derail mentally. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and it can even cause a little bit more anxiety if you have a strategic thing at 8 o'clock, I'm doing this, and it has to be for an hour, and if it goes over an hour or under an hour, it may cause stress, it may cause anxiety in the individual. So yes, have the constant, but be flexible. And I know what you do is actually fun. Like I've seen your exercises, I've seen your on Instagram, you bring the humor, the fun, the excitement in exercise, and I love that. And that's how you're different to other personal trainers or wellness coaches.
Well, I mean, this is my belief. I believe we can all do squats and lunges, but it's very dry. It's not very stimulating stuff. I believe the real gold in what I'm doing is the community aspect, is the freeing up, like the laughing, the freeing up, the expression that I try to promote. So for instance, last Saturday we did an entire dancing class. We were doing the hokey pokey, we were doing Cotton Eye Joe, we were doing Nut Bush, things like this. And that's, still great exercise, but to throw in there as long with the normal exercises and things. But we're human beings, and I think this society has really, it doesn't cater to our humanity so much. It really cuts off our ability to express ourselves and connect with each other. So I've tried to make this a safe space and try to emphasize those things.
Yeah, I love how you said that it has disconnected us from humanity. It's interesting because when the gyms were open here in Victoria, I would go to the gym and most people would have these on, their headphones, and they would just stand in front of the mirror, just themselves and do their thing, and that's it. It wasn't even though it was an huge open space and there was so much opportunity for you to get involved and communicate, there wasn't so much of that happening. So It's interesting how a Zoom class online can actually bring people together, even though you're home alone.
This is, it's fairly fresh. This platform is fairly fresh for me. I've had to adapt to this, right? But I have actually found that the level of engagement is actually, it's almost more so than and it's more far-reaching than in physical presence, which is limited right now, of course. It's crazy.
I love that. So the real question that everyone wants to know is weights or cardio?
Well,
what is your favorite and what is the thing to do?
I'll tell you what my favorite is, and what I've found most impactful is a combination, believe it or not, of both in a sense. So fairly heavy weight circuits, full body, exercising the larger muscle groups. For instance, maybe choosing 60% of your maximal weight going from, and without breaks as well, going from a squat into a chin up, into a row, into a lunge, weighted lunges. That in terms of the most intense and impactful workout I've put myself through, and regimes I've put myself through, definitely. And so what that achieves is you still build muscle, and you get into all the muscle groups, but you also really
raising that heart rate, really.
Yeah, the heart rate is through the roofs as well. So so I'm not much of a pure, although I play football, and that's pure cardio. You're pushing off other people. That's strength based, but I am more a combination of both, I would say.
Yeah, it's interesting because, there's all these individuals who just do cardio and it gets them results, but then they plateau. And there's individuals who just do weights and it gets them results and they plateau. So it's interesting that whole plateau aspect of exercise. Do you see that happening often?
What happens in the muscles is you get micro tears, not the tears in which you're really damaged and your function is damaged, but micro tears insofar as you work the area, micro tears have occurred. And you need fresh nutrients and blood to repair that, and that's how your muscle actually builds. So, hang on, I've lost my train of thought.
So with that tear, and you said micronutrients and to repair. So in saying that, would diet be key in that?
Yeah. Wait, hang on. Let me just finish that thought.
Go on.
I went too far into my explanation. Sorry, Mahela.
We'll bring it back.
Bring it back. What was the question, so I can finish off that point?
The question was in regards to plateauing, hitting a plateau when we're exercising.
Very important. Yeah. Let me bring it back. Sorry. Let me bring it back. Yes. So that's the way that muscle building occurs. Your body has a fantastic memory and ability to repair and know how to repair in the future. It's amazing what the brain can do. So if you are regularly doing the same types of training, say for instance, some people walk, some people do certain things. I don't believe in really walking, but say for instance, it's running. Okay. You'll find that you'll get to a point, if you're doing it daily, that it becomes easier and easier to the point where you're not shocking your body enough to really reach past another point. I really believe in mixing up your training, whether it's strength training onto sprints, onto endurance running, or onto HIIT classes, whatever it might be. Continue to shock your body and you're going to get the best results if you want to overcome plateaus.
That's interesting. Continue to shock your body. Isn't that interesting? Also mentally, that's how you grow. You keep shocking yourself with new events that come up.
But well, this is the thing. We are a society, right, who increasingly steering towards comfort. It's ingrained, and our systems are all pushing us towards enhancing our comfort, when growth, by lots of different definitions, it occurs through embracing unknowns and fears and uncomfortability. And that's why I stress in my classes. I'm like, we're going to be best mates with uncomfortability by the end of this. And I mean it in jest, but it's true.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you say comfort, because we've got comfort food, comfort couch, comfort relationships, comfort friendship, and we don't leave any of them because we're comfortable, right? And that's safe, and that's not causing anxiety, and it's not causing change. So it's kind of like, well, if I step out of that, I'm going to get so anxious, I'm not going to know who I am. But maybe in the comfort zone, you actually don't know who you are.
100%. Things like codependent relationships are, they're terrible for self-growth and identity. And I guess, as you said, it's something that becomes, over time, it becomes so ingrained, it makes it harder to ever really live a life for you, I guess. Because ideally, two people want to be individually self-confident, strong, and ambitious, coming together to aid each other's life and to be support for each other, but not when it's a dependency and like a safety net, but really not allowing each person to flourish.
Yeah. And that's not just partner relationships. That could be any, like mother, daughter, sibling, friend, teacher, mentor. Any type of relationship can be a codependency relationship. And it's so dangerous, isn't it? Codependency is just, we may feel fake good in it, but it causes a lot of not allowing us to flourish, like you said.
100%. I totally agree with that. Definitely.
Yeah.
Got to find our own voice. We've got to find our voice.
That's it. So look, people might look at you on YouTube with the video and they might be like, look, this guy's built, he gets up every morning, exercise, like, oh, you are so lucky, Seb, that, you can get out of bed and exercise. But what I want to know is, what is the difference between the person who gets out of bed like yourself and an individual who doesn't get out of bed and exercise? What is the difference between those two individuals?
I guess, everyone goes through wavering motivation. Everyone has points, has peaks and troughs in their own lives. I guess, as I said, it can be sometimes tough to get up early morning and stand there and do some squats. That can be tough. Like I fully believe that a nice routine can help you overcome wavering motivation. But I think you need to see the enjoyable side. You need to be seeing the positive and seeing the good in what you want and what you're trying to do for your health. Which is why I sort of preach about sustainability. If you're getting up or you're choosing to get up for something that you believe in and you have fun in, but is also getting those health benefits, you're going to be able to continue that process. But if you're not fully, you don't believe in what you're getting up for or what you're trying to do, then no doubt, you're gonna press the sleep button. You're gonna go back to sleep. You're like, and you might not feel good about yourself. But it's like I believe that routine is key. So routine, and then things like, as I sort of said, community. If you've got, as I said, we all waver in our motivation, but if you've got a nice community around you, like-minded people, this is why, team sport, group classes, not just because I've got one, but group classes, all of these things I believe to be really beneficial. Because you see it all the time. You see people going, okay, I want better for my health. I want to feel better mentally, physically, in all regards. And so I'm going to embrace this, go from, maybe no fitness base, no exercise routine. I'm going to go do the super ultra shred challenge, which has got a starvation diet plan and an ultra intense dry program, which is self-motivated. And you'll see that, people will stay motivated for, I think the statistics are like 80-something% people drop out after a week or so because it's not sustainable. And it's also not baby steps. I forgot to mention baby steps. You don't achieve goals or start new things by jumping. Well, you can, very low percentage though, by jumping giant leaps into a totally new lifestyle. It's trickling in things to reform new habits and to reform, I guess, your life, your daily structure, and what you love and appreciate, I guess.
Yeah, baby steps. Isn't that interesting? Because when it hits the 1st of January 2021, we're not going to do baby steps. No one does baby steps as society. We just go into a hungover, probably anxious, depressed with what's happened in 2020. And we think 1 week of the 1st of January, of the 1st January of the week of 2021 is going to heal us.
Yeah, 100%. And as a, in the space of offering programs, in a sense, I don't want to see people drop off, but the reality is that people are going to, because society puts on the new year, every day is a new year. Do you know what I mean? Every moment is a new year. That's what we need to start. We need to start just instilling that notion in our minds rather than dates which have, meaning and things like that, and attached meaning, societal attachments.
Yeah, I like that, how every day you can change. Every day you can jump onto a new program. It doesn't have to be the first of a month or the year of whatever it is. But I also wanted to know your thoughts with everything that's been happening in Australia, all around the world. It's probably the first time in my lifetime that I know that something has happened so big that's not just affected one society, one country. It's affected the whole world. So I wanted to get an understanding of your thoughts on how this would have had an effect on exercise, an effect on mental health, because most people, they just wouldn't get out of bed to exercise because the gyms were closed. They didn't have that drive to get out of bed and exercise. But how do you think everything that's happened around that has affected and impacted that side?
It's taken a huge toll on people's mental health, 100%. So not only we've lost our daily structure in a sense, which was in a lot of senses, in a lot of the positive senses, we've lost that. So people are working from home. So people have lost their engagement and their connection with others, which I think has been a crucial thing. We've been confined to four walls, and we've been confined to, although that was already quite a strong presence, we've been confined to our devices, our stimulus, our electrical currents, our 4G, 5G, and also that societal projection, which occurs in social media, and especially you're working from home, and especially when there's hysteria, when there's fear, attachment, and that's on the news and on the TV, it's being projected as well. You've got a combination of the stripping away of structure, the removal of physical presence, a lot of physical touch as well. I mean, the amount of different ways that this has affected us as human beings is huge. It's like an endless list. It's also like that. That's all of the negative in a sense, as well as the things like the combination that you got, your food source, your pantry, and everything like that. There's a tendency for all of the things that happen with eating and stress eating and all that sort of stuff. And there's been more stress naturally, So it is all, but there is also positives that have come. Our ability to know that, as we've discussed at the beginning of this podcast, that our structure that we had is not the be all and end all. That has been swiftly removed, which has shown people that, we adapt. It's possible to adapt. We've had to adapt. So now it's also shown people that, hey, nothing is permanent. And maybe be more flexible with your mentality, which maybe will lead also, I'm just trying to be as positive as possible. I know it's mostly negative, but might lead to a lot of the searching that we talked about in terms of fulfillment, passions, and other, possibilities. Yeah,
it was given a lot of time for us to sit down and actually think about what is happening in our personal life, in our work life, and as a society, as a community, as a country. It's given us definitely a lot of time to think, if we allowed it to, and if we wanted to face that side, isn't it?
100%. Heaps of time to sit and ponder. Absolutely. Just going, what just happened? Why is this happening? And just a total, turned everything on its head and just had to reflect on, okay, well, what happens now? Is it possible for new things to happen now? Because a lot of people are so used to their system, which was ingrained and apparently indestructible and solid. This has shown that it's not. So,
yeah, and systems help us, our businesses run. Systems help us run routines and things like that, which is amazing. But the key that I love that you're saying is, system is going to help you, but it needs to be a flexible system. It needs to be a flexible routine. You need to have, if you're going to get out of bed in the morning, you need to have flexibility in a sense. I know something that helped me is, I know this probably sounds, I don't know who does it, but I remember when I wouldn't get out of bed, I literally put on my gym clothes. And then I would wake
Yeah.
up and I would look at them and be like, oh, I have to go.
Yeah, because I can't be bothered taking them off. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna do it. All right, fine.
Yeah. And I had my shoes on the bedside table, like on the side, socks ready, and it was just a whole mental change. And the thing that got me into it was actual classes. Like, that's how I started. It was classes. It was friends I got along with. It was a whole community feel. It was Tabata. So it was that type of training. Everyone had to push through. You had to work together. So I think with what you said in regards to getting out of bed and actually training, you need to have more than just exercise in your mind. It needs to be a whole type of things like community, fun, exercise, and a number of things. Is there anything else that you would add into it for someone is there any tricks and tips that you could give to individuals to get out of bed and exercise?
Yeah, well, I mean, other things, for instance, like quality sleep. I think that's actually, it might be underrated. If it is, it shouldn't be. Because I tell you what, you've slept well, you're 1,000,000% more likely to embrace something new that you want to undertake. So that means that the night before, the tips and tricks and the preparations for sleep, you really need to, for instance, turning off your devices, slowing down all that injection of stimulus, obviously no caffeines and things like that. Maybe positive sleep affirmations, listening to that to slowly tune you into that calming of the system, as well as lights. Turning off light sources, starting to dim everything down, candles, baths, getting that good sleep is going to help as well. Then you've obviously you said you were motivated to go into classes probably because you were starting to make friends and starting to feel that communal energy. It becomes more than yourself. Because I guess that's a really important point as well. If it's you're more likely to maintain your motivation when you've got a group of friends or a community and it's more than just you, because as human beings we will search for comfort. We'll go back to bed. So I guess there are a lot of different motivators like that.
Having accountability. Do you think that's accountability? Do you think that's a key one?
Of course, yeah, of course. Group accountability. For instance, that is actually a very important point. So with my program that I'm running, I've obviously got the engagement I've got on Zoom, but where the heart of the program is within the chat groups, the closed group chat groups, where everyone is expressing not only just, hey, I messed up with my diet, guys, I'm sorry. Showing that accountability, and hey, I can't make this work out because life has happened, and there's that. But these groups, the groups that the safe zones that I've created in a sense, have been a space where people are expressing also their life stories, who they really are, and the combination of all of this and getting on the same page, and I guess truly connecting. That's helping with accountability. Accountability to yourself, and then accountability to your friends and your community.
I think that's beautiful that you've set up a safe space for individuals who usually probably wouldn't really go to the gym, and it's not something that they really want to do. However, they want to exercise, they want to look after their health. And it's so beautiful that you created a platform, that you created a space where they feel not only safe, but they also feel like they're engaging, they're getting happier, and they're achieving results.
Yeah, I think that's the key, and that just shows it makes sense because we're human beings, and that's what human beings need. So it makes sense that works, and that's why it works. Yeah,
amazing. So you were talking about routine. We want to know: do you have a morning or night routine?
Well, yes, and it's it's probably at the moment like I've adjusted to it over the last 12 weeks. It's changed a little bit, but I'm getting up probably a little bit too early, 4:45 a.m. And that's when I'm most productive and fiery. If I feel really, really lethargic, I'll have a cold shower. I'm a really big advocate for cold showers, just to give you clarity to help you overcome anything that you've carried into your day. from that rest, whatever you've carried with you, shock the system, you'll gain clarity. You'll be tortured for 2 minutes, and then you'll be like, okay, now I know exactly where I want to go with my day and what I'm about. It definitely works. And then, first thing I do is sort of hydrate with some lemon water. And then I come in here and I prepare. I do work. I'm most productive at that time in the morning, most productive. But then I run my classes. So I've got my class at 6:30. And then I'll go into, my healthy eating after the session, my rehydrating, and I'll carry my day on and work and try to get that balance. It's tough. I must be honest, I'm in the stage of building a brand and this business. And so all of the things which maybe I preach, sometimes can get affected. But I guess as long as the majority of the little things that you're doing, for instance, sunlight, going for walks, mindfulness, it's lucky because in this program, I know the importance of it. So we practice it. We do I run a lot of guided meditations, meditation yoga, from this space, just to clear the slate of the day and just to balance out the massive undertaking, which is, I guess, this program, and as well as life.
Yeah. So have you always woke up at 4:45? Has it always been like that, or is that a new thing?
No, that's a new thing. That's a new thing. I tell you what, any time can become the norm.
Yes.
Any time can become the norm, as long as you're getting your 6-7 hours, for what you need. It's just an adjustment period. And what you find is then you've got more hours in the day, in a sense, because, not too much gets done at 9-10 at night,
And that's how it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah. That's it.
That's time to just calm down, recollect, and be zen. Be zen, Seb.
Yeah, that's it.
So do you have a night routine at all? Is that, or is it just mostly the morning?
Well, so 6:30 p.m., 6:30 a.m., 6:30 p.m. So 6:30 p.m. We've got our mindfulness, we've got our yoga and our guided meditation, and our just check-ins, and that sets up the de-stressing and the slowing down of things, the clearing of any negative thoughts from the day. Depending on whether I'm doing the guided meditation, I try. It's interesting. It's difficult to explain what I do in that space, but it's all aimed at just decluttering, de-stressing, focusing in on the moment, focusing in on breath, and knowing that in this moment, that is the truth, and that is what really matters in this space. Everything else, our roles, our attachments, our stresses, is irrelevant. And then, after that, I will just, have something nice and healthy to eat. And then I'll usually go into the bedroom by that stage. And, I shouldn't watch things. I try to leave, a space at least half an hour by the time I switch off. Sometimes I find that difficult. Sometimes I find myself on the computer, but if I really want for my best sleep outcome, it is turning off the devices and things like that, and literally just maybe talking to Liz, chilling out in relative darkness. I'm lucky in a sense. It's not lucky in a sense, but Liz is photosensitive, so we keep things quite dark in a sense anyway. So that makes that adjustment easier at nighttime.
Yeah, it's beautiful, the blue light. And I mean, I'm loving that blue light behind you, but at nighttime.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Do you know what I love about your program, what you've just said, is at 6:30 a.m., you're actually doing what our body is supposed to be doing. You're raising that cortisol, you're raising that stress response, you're full on raising that up to get ready for the day. But then what you're also doing, what not a lot of programs do, if any, you're actually decreasing it and dropping it down, so then you have time for that melatonin to pick up and actually rest. So I love that you actually got the 6:30 a.m. and the 6:30 p.m. that you're combining the two together. It's not just we're going to get you revved up in the morning and that's it, and then just leave you for the day. I love that you're starting what you're finishing.
Yeah, 100%. It is a process like that. That's exactly right. Seriously, after the sleep state, that's what we need to really embrace the day. We need to really, as you said, unleash the system. Whereas it was at night, to get into that REM and sleep, to delve into it deeply, we need to prepare ourselves for that and to slowly release off the day. I mean, especially these days with all of the stresses that are happening at the moment, especially,
I love that. Well, look, we're going to finish off the podcast. Before we do that, what is your secret to exercise? I know we've spoken about so many things. But what is your little secret that someone can take on and be like, I'm going to do exactly what Seb does and get myself motivated, go and exercise?
Okay. This is what I think it is. I think identify, if you're just beginning, if you haven't embraced any exercise routine, if this is new to you and you really want to make a start, identify the exercise that you enjoy. Or for instance, it could be a bushwalk, could be hill walk or walk by the beach. If it's at the beginning of the process, find something you enjoy, and maybe with friends or like-minded individuals, and start by slowly progressing from the point. So if it's a walk, okay, it's a walk, and then maybe you're attaching hand weights to it, and then it's maybe into a jog. But all the while, baby steps towards what you want to implement. I think that's crucial. Don't just go, okay, I'm fed up with, not moving enough and embracing healthy eating enough. Don't do it like that. Maybe, slowly but surely, day by day, along with, the start of exercise, whatever you enjoy or you can see yourself factoring in or works for your life at the moment. And then maybe switching out food items, something that you're eating daily, switch that out with something healthier, so that over a month, 2 months, you're eventually eating cleanly and you're exercising regularly. And maybe that's progressed, and also try to be as open to new things as possible. That's crucial. Being open-minded to embrace the unknown.
Beautiful.
It's not. I tell you what. Yeah. I tell you what. A large percentage of all of my life rewards, maybe you call them, or my great epiphanies have come from embracing the unknown, and as well as led on to success, I guess, my personal success. So embrace your unknowns. Don't be too afraid of stepping out.
Get into that uncomfortable zone. Get in there and grow.
Yeah. It's not the devil. It's not the devil. Yeah.
It may seem at the time, but it's not. You're 100% right. You're on point. So look, to finish off, I ask all my guests, as this is the Natural Health Podcast, what is your best kept secret natural health hack that you want to share with us?
Yes. Okay. So now this is a strange one, and I'm not a scientist, so I cannot give you the science behind it. But I can say this: mineral water. I'm a massive advocate for water in general, for hydration. But there has been something over the years that on moments of peak performance, or it should be every day, but when I'm really preparing for a really big, intense day, my mental health, my physical health, how I feel in all regards improves when I embrace mineral water. I'm talking like, 6 liters of mineral water. I don't know what it is about the bubbles. Maybe it's extra sodium or minerals in it. I'm not quite sure, but maybe give that a go. Oh, as well as CBD oil, I'm finding is helping me just chill out.
Yeah, beautiful. And mineral water, 100%. There's so many reasons why it assists. I mean, we concentrate, so I could talk so much about it, but we concentrate so much on the macros that we totally forget the minerals that our body needs to actually function. Yes, it needs the macros, the fat, the carbs, the carbohydrates, but it's those minerals that drive the process for them to actually come out as energy and function. So yeah, so I'm a big lover of mineral water, and I love that you mentioned that, and CBD oil. So that's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you. So it's, this audience have been listening to this and are like, oh my gosh, I absolutely love Seb. I love what he's all about. Where can they find you, and how can they get onto your program?
Yeah, cool. You can, I've got a website, www.sebastiangilhouse.com.au. I'm more active than I should be on my Instagram. So if you want to send me a DM, that's fine. Otherwise, you can send me an email. It should be in my bio as well. And, as I said, there's access now to a program that you can do on your own that's pre-recorded. Because at the moment, obviously, I'm running challenges which last for a certain amount of time, and they obviously closed off for that period of time, and then a few weeks spaced out in between. So yeah, there's pre-recorded, and then there's live challenges that I'm running. If you want to get involved, send me a message, and we'll get a dialogue happening.
Beautiful. Hit Seb up on his absolutely amazing classes. Thank you so much for joining us here at Natural Health Podcast. I really appreciate your time, Seb.
Yes, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for joining us at the Natural Health Podcast. And remember, the missing link between failure and success is your health.